What's up, everyone? It's Melanated GL Decoder here, and I was on the Thailand streets, and I saw that the collective came after FayMay for plagiarism. They accused them of copying Freen's, her entertainment thing, and I thought this was a perfect example because of what happened after. The independent creators had to come online and check you niggas. And this is perfect independent creator audience retraining 101. So I'm just going to give you a couple of screenshots. Obviously, we'll go into the AI and we'll come back and talk about it, okay? So you can see their Instagram. That's where I got these screenshots from. So you can go actually look at the whole video. So yeah, you could pause it, and that's the person down below. So I want to give them their credit because I had seen it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then once we have here is Faye addressing on a live. Once again, the screenshot from the Instagram is down below, so you can look at this. Okay. Okay, let's get into the classroom now, because the independent creators are giving us some audience retraining 101.
Independent creator audience retraining, FayMay Entertainment and Solen Entertainment. What we uncovered is that FayMay Entertainment and Solen Entertainment are actively retraining the collective after stepping out of corporate oversight. Unlike network-backed talent, these creators now operate autonomously, setting their own branding, messaging, and visibility. The immediate audience reaction, questions about logo similarity, assumptions of copying, and fan projections, reveals how conditioned the collective was to rely on corporate mediation. This is the first real test of audience adaptation for both creators. Solen launched first, establishing a visual and narrative reference, and FayMay followed shortly after, triggering direct comparison and prompting public clarification. Structural context. Under the former corporate infrastructure, logos, branding, and public narratives were curated by networks and agencies. Audience engagement was partially managed or guided, reducing friction and interpretive ambiguity. Fans assumed institutions acted as protectors and mediators, which created a dependency. Post-independence, Solen and FayMay released their logos and branding without corporate filtration. The collective immediately responded with noise, questioning similarity, originality, and intent. But the creators stepped in directly, clarifying intentions and boundaries through live sessions and public statements. No external shield exists. The audience now navigates creator content and identity directly, without the network acting as intermediary. The timing of releases matters. Solen's earlier launch gave her a first-mover advantage, while FayMay's follow-up forced her to manage the narrative proactively. Patterns revealed. Collective unlearning. Audiences must adjust from being guided by corporate authority to interacting with independent creators directly. Noise as symptom. Fan commentary about logos, perceived copying, and fan service reflects dependence on institutional framing rather than substantive disputes. Direct boundary enforcement. Public statements and live sessions act as structural lessons, educating the audience on respectful engagement and interpretation norms. Visibility without permission. Independent creators define their presence on their own terms, exposing both the autonomy and the expectation management required for engagement. Implications for the collective. Fans are learning that simplicity in branding, like logos and visuals, does not require gatekeeping or policing. Audience members are trained to respect creator autonomy without expecting corporate oversight. Independent creators now function as their own authority, demonstrating that engagement norms are defined by the creators themselves, not by legacy institutions. The process exposes both friction and education. Fans are forced to unlearn ingrained behaviors and adapt to a new independent system. Systemic patterns, audience dependence on infrastructure. The backlash highlights how much collective behavior relied on corporate mediation, showing fragility in old frameworks. Structural gaps as opportunity. Independence exposes weaknesses in traditional power grids and positions creators as the new authority. Education by action. Live sessions, public clarifications, and controlled visibility become structural signals, teaching fans how to interact with creators autonomously. Timing and sequence sensitivity. Solen's launch first set the reference point. FayMay's launch second created immediate comparison and highlighted audience conditioning, forcing proactive narrative management. Takeaways. FayMay Entertainment and Solen Entertainment demonstrate how independent creators can actively retrain their audience post-corporate backing, how autonomy allows direct control of visibility, messaging, and engagement norms, that independence introduces friction, but this friction becomes the mechanism through which the collective learns to operate under new norms, how strategic communication, live sessions, statements, clarification, functions as both defense and pedagogy, teaching the audience to recognize and respect creator sovereignty. This is a structural decode illustrating how independent actors reshape collective engagement and audience behavior once freed from institutional oversight, showing sovereignty and proactive authority in action.
Hell yeah, we love independent creators. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the ladies are obviously they're gaining their sovereignty through their own platforms, as they should. We have that right. And once again, as you all know, the timeline, the fact that the ladies had came out and had to acknowledge the rumors that was going around about similar things was just another. It was their first initiation once again being being independent, because it was literally their logo launch. It was their first initiation with the collective and how they are going to have to handle them, because a lot of y'all running loose in the streets. I know, I've been on some of these panels. Y'all running loose, unregulated, and I'm not even in y'all geographical location. Remember, I'm a melanated woman in America. Do you know how many logos get stolen from independent creators to major TV programs, major companies? So y'all need to, yeah, like I said, I live in America. Do you know how much shit is stolen over here? Do you? See? Do y'all know how much shit is stolen over here? Yeah, okay, yeah. So y'all need to look once again though. Shout out to the independent creators and their audience retraining 101. And this is exactly what y'all need to understand. These creators are independent. They ain't got no backing institutionalized, and we know how the institution did them. If they did, they would have never been here if the institution did them dirty. See or no? I'm just gonna be a real ninja. But once again, y'all, we love it. We love to learn through experience. And obviously, we know that a lot of ladies have always come on their platforms and talked about things that was going on, because a lot of the collective is very low, still low vibrational and petty and uneducated. So the fact that this was the first opportunity for them to retrain the audience, when it just came to a simple comparison of their announcements of their brands, of their announcements of their entertainment. I just wanted to say, yes, great job for them for showing their authority, because no one's going to back them up but themselves. And it's just a good example to see already how independent creators have to take authority in the positions that they now have. They're free. And this is what they're going to help you. They're going to start retrain the collective on how you have to engage with them. Because like I said, a lot of the shit that y'all did, they ain't going to stand for, nigga. Real shit. And I wouldn't either in this bitch. Okay? So I hope y'all understand. Y'all could lose access to a lot of shit. And they really don't care, especially if you're invading and you're you're doing petty shit. You know what I'm saying? You're doing petty shit. They'll check your ass. They don't have to be nice to you no more. So, like I said, we gonna see a lot of the independent creators' true authenticity, because they are free and they have the ability to do that. And once again, they're gonna start retraining the audience. And this was just a great example. Here of this incident of the audience retraining. Here you go. You can pause and everything. Yes, you see, okay. And I didn't know this just happened. But anyways, once again, independent creator audience retraining, because like I said, y'all need to understand how to not cross their boundaries energetically and say some outlandish shit. Deuces.